So I'd like to introduce Mio Mio, who is the mobile content chief editor of Elle in China. And then we'll have Mike, who is the product director of LiveMe, which is a live stream platform. And we have Alecha, who is the co-founder of Melifim, with his girlfriend and bloggers. And we're going to talk, so I think we can sit down. And we're going to talk about live streaming, which I think is a super interesting subject, since it is not that developed in Europe or in the US. We have Instagram for sure. We have, so we see all the big players fighting, like Facebook and Google and Twitter, and a little bit of Snapchat fighting on that subject, but it's not so much developed, where in China it is super well developed. So I think we're going to start with understanding how we are moving from an archive. What I call archive would be how you show off on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever, to a now situation where people are just live streaming. And I think, Mike, it would be super interesting to understand what is that movement, and also the bet that you've done, because most of your users are in the US, if I'm correct. Yes. So if you could explain that, that would be amazing.
Okay. So first of all, for the 2016, the whole year, some people said that's the year of live streaming, especially the mobile live stream in China. Now there are probably 200 apps trying to do mobile live streaming, offer this typical service in there. And in China, we will see a not just one or two apps, it's a well-founded ecosystem right now. So compared with the rest of the world, we see China, it's kind of leading the trend for the mobile live streaming world. So when I'm talking about the ecosystem, it's not just one app, it's a whole different layer, and each layer have a different function and serve for different purpose. For example, you will see like the generic live streaming platforms such as Inke or Huajiao, and also some vertical domain specific mobile live streaming platform. For example, like Taobao's Live, which offering focusing on the e-commerce part, or just like Chusou, that's a mobile gaming streaming platform. And also on top of that, you see a lot of different agencies that dedicate to discover and also training, also promoting their talent and for the curated content and trying to entertain all the audience. And also, don't forget about the payment system. We just have talk about the mobile payment system in China, like Alipay or WeChat payment, which really facilitate, also enable all the small company or the individual can do the business on top of the mobile platform. And when we do the live streaming in US, we introduced LiveMe, this new app, in last April. What we're trying to do is actually copy all the experience and give it a little bit different touch, which designed for the US teenager, then released in US market. We definitely see some great trending happening in US as well, that we also know US teenager, US young generation also embrace for this trend. But we haven't seen all this systematic way to find the right talent and also introduce the right business and leverage the live streaming to do the brand promotion in US right now. So I would say when we watch closely to the China mobile live streaming, you pretty much understand what will happen in next 1 or 2 years for the rest of the world.
So talking about payment, and you talked also about shopping, and you have that slide, which I think is very interesting. How is it working with e-commerce?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they see live streaming for the e-commerce, first off, the question would be, is that just another TV shopping channel? I think that definitely it's not. It's more engaging, and it's more like the fan-driven. It's not just talking about you want to sell something to someone. So the first one is you have a way to choose the right audience. It's not just like TV shopping channel, you never know who is watching. But in this case, you understand your fans. You probably reach them before the show start. And also, when you work with the right KOL, their fans will follow the influencer come on board. So you know when you do the business with this fans, this potential audience, your KOL will give a lot of kick because they already follow their lead. And the other thing is when you do the live streaming, interaction is something you never want to miss. You don't want to just simply promote your brand or product during a show. You want your KOL or your influencer work with the fans, work with the audience, because everything happens in the real-time fashion. So everything is like, it's not really set up before the show. Everything, when fans talking back, when fans give the interaction with like comment or the virtual gifting, that also can help you to do the brand promotion. And the last is, right after the show, you understand who watch the show the most, who stay longer, so you can know what's the high potential customer in this show. Then you can do the precise targeting for those audience.
And you have a business case, I think that.
Yeah, I have one case that we done in Taiwan. You see, this guy is actually someone from the brand. What he's trying to do is promote the stick, trying to sell the stick. But however, he trying to work with one of our influencer in Taiwan, which is this girl. She got over 100,000 fans on our platform. So when they work together, they're trying to promote the brand and promote the selling steak. So it's not just like the TV shopping channel. It's more like the show and curate the show and present to their fans. I think we have a small video. No?
Yes.
牛排这边哦，
你们看这个牛排有多大
真的16盎司比脸还大。
？16盎司是几公克啊
16盎司大概是450公克。好，那这个牛排它有一个很大的特色哦，是它的油花非常的丰厚。你可以看，油花很丰富。
我帮你擦一擦，
擦一擦
给大家看。
这边要说明一下哦，这个牛排哦，说真的，新鲜哥真的不是专门。
哎，你看，我们结婚吧，好可爱哟、
脸红了耶，好可爱。哎，旁边。
哎，都先借我一下。
好，怎样可以吗？旁边路人。
So this is the perfect example when we see happen in live streaming. You see when they promoting something, their fans can also send out the gift, trying to interact with them. So for us, we can also customize whatever type of those facial tracking gift for you. So it's not just it's not just unidirectional you promote your brand, but also it's like a bi-directional way you interact with your fans during the promotion.
Thank you. Myo, from what I understand, in China, the beauty industry is huge on live stream. So maybe that would be interesting to explain how is it so, and also we'll talk about the case you wanted to talk afterwards, so that we understand better what you, as Hell, as a magazine, can bring to brands when they want to go into live stream.
I think hello.
Yeah.
I think talking about the live streaming, we cannot skip the case we firstly made in last March 2016, also in Paris Fashion Week China. We did a live streaming with the top celebrity Fan Bingbing, and this live stream in the early of 2016, the Air China is the first fashion media to use the live streaming to report the Fashion Week. So we covered from New York, London, Milan, and to the Paris. And in the last day of the Paris, we just set a record and set a case of the live streaming with the top celebrity Fan Bingbing, because this girl is one of the famous actors and the highest paid actress in China, and also she is a cover girl of the Time magazine in February 2007. And before then in China, the live streaming is mainly focused on the game commentators and the sexy girls live shows in the live broadcast in their bedrooms. So this by using the live streaming to report the Fashion Week, we just changed the contents of live streaming. For example, the contents is about the many target the males audience. And after that, we can, a lot of people who are interested in fashion and interesting, the young people are finding there's a very interesting area in live streaming. And also we make the host becoming the top celebrity and not just only normal people. And after then, the KOLs, the experts in fashions, and most of the top celebrities are doing their live streaming. So that Air China set the trend, so we can not skip that. The trend, ordinary people to the top celebrity. So there's a lot of business chances for us because the brands are coming to us. Mostly, you mentioned the cosmetic brands because they can accept more than the traditional luxury brands. They do a lot of interaction on the website, and they're willing to try new things. So after that March in May in Cannes Festival, we have a cooperate with the brand L'Oreal to live stream the 4 very important celebrities such as Gong Li, how they go the red carpet. And with this live streaming, we also help the brand to promote their digital marketing events on the Tmall to help them to sell the products. So that's what we are doing.
Yeah. Thank you. And what I liked about that panel is that the 3 of you are very complementary because we have a media, we have a platform, and we have Elijah who is representing.
Okay. So maybe we can see the Fan Bingbing's case and to see how the celebrity to interact with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Can you play it?
Is it?
No, it should be
This one?
The former.
Oh, sorry.
The last.
Yeah, that one.
Can we play it? Is there any video?
Sorry.
So this is the first time that the Chinese media to report.
I'm afraid we don't have the video.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let's go on.
So to come back to to you, sorry, Elijah. You've got a different position because you're working with your girlfriend,
sure.
Who is a KOL, and actually what I find super interesting, and you guys can totally read what he's explaining on LinkedIn on how you can build somehow an influencer. Maybe we'll see the little video that you've put
Sure.
together, and then that would be interesting to have your point of view on this live streaming movement in China. All right.
Yeah, I think that this actually is a really huge paradigm shift in entertainment, and especially for China. And one of the reasons that it took off is because, and me and Maggie talk about this a lot, the standard government-issued controlled TV and movies is really boring. And here has been the opportunity for regular people to start creating and consuming content on their own, in their niches, and where they really want to see it, when they want to see it, from who they want to see it, and that has opened up the doors in a really, really big way. I think from my perspective, we're actually really, really careful about what we do in the live streaming sphere because there's all the way down to what we call low D. Those are like the girls who dance in front of the cameras, and some of even our friends are these types of KOLs where we have a friend who, she takes off her wedding ring, And then she goes in and she has her agency have someone go into her show and start trying to rev up her big sponsors or her big sugar daddies into giving gifts. And so it goes all the way from that to, Fan Bingbing doing, very, very high-end shows, to kind of what we do, where we only live stream when we work directly with a brand and we're coordinated with the platform itself. But what the cool thing is, again, it goes all the way back to offering value that's not accessible any other way, and it's a big change.
So how do you add value through live streaming as an influencer?
Well, for us, Maggie is a world-class makeup artist that does makeup with, GQ and other artists and magazines and such. And so this is an opportunity for girls to see that type of makeup artist and learn from that type of makeup artist. On top of that, it's a niche. Maggie serves only girls who have, we call yellow tone skin. She's not the Snow White looking beauty that a lot of Asian cultures kind of gravitate towards. And she also has a Western style beauty. And so she's able to serve a very unique vertical of girls that say, hey, I want to tune in when that girl is presenting and see something different that I'm definitely not going to see anywhere else.
Thank you. Mike, I would be interesting to understand the new paradigm of live stream, the time spent. I think that's also something that we can talk together. The time spent, but also the engagement. You talked a little bit about engagement before. How is it different from the platform that we used to know? Like here we have Facebook, Instagram, but whatever is not from the ancient words, let's say all the fixed image. How is it changing with live stream?
Okay, the first is that live streaming, when people watching live streaming, they intend to find something they're really interesting, just like we're just talking about. Now you have a full control when you want to watch and who you want to watch and what kind of content you want to watch. So in average, we can find the average time spent on the live stream is much higher than the average social media. Of course, I cannot disclose the detailed time spent in live me at this moment. But we also see the engagement because it's more like an immersive engagement. When you're watching, you can react to whatever that influencer or talent create during the show. So you're not just watching. You do the interact with a talent in the real time. You send a gift, you send a comment, then you can also do the following. So that's something we see tremendous different from the ordinary or traditional social media like YouTube or Instagram. Because on the traditional social media, what you can do is like you watch something, you interact, but the creator will never try to respond to you in real-time fashion. So that's the major value you can see when you're doing a live streaming.
Interesting. And yeah.
So I think it's the most exciting part of live streaming because, for example, if you read an article online, it's just only take you 5 minutes. But when you watch a live streaming, you will spend about 1 hour to watch it. So the engagement is very deep by this way.
And also, during the preparation, we talked about how brands can step in and the preparations they needed to do because it's very different to control. And I know that luxury brands and beauty brands, they like to control. When in live stream, you cannot really control because it's live. Yes, but it's also the exciting part of live streaming because you cannot control. It depends on the host. So in Air China's live streaming, all the hosts are KOL, influencers, and the celebrities. And comparing to the girls in the general people in the bedroom or just the people who, for example, if you see the show, the one general people can do the live streaming, and also the Air China can do it. But the view of the
and the content of the show is quite different because our hosts are the editors with 5 to 10 years experience in fashion. So that can make the people more important comparing to the general medias, because you don't know who are writing the articles and who makes the pictures, and maybe everyone can do the same things, but in live streaming, just the special people can do that. That's very exciting for our media workers, because that it's a chance that you can get a higher attentions, and also the interaction is very interesting, because the celebrities, you don't have the chance before to FaceTime to the top celebrities. You don't even have the chance, but now on our platforms we can ask the top celebrities to talk directly to you.
And before we move to your other case, what advice would you give to brands that want to step in live streaming? I know that Mike also, as a platform, you are also helping brands, but we'll come to that afterwards. I would be very interesting from your point of view.
I think the quality, if the high resolution of the video is not the important things, but many the brands, I think, is not so much clear like the high resolution, but in live streaming, the interaction is more important. It's more like the Truman Show, and it's more like a video, video game. Mm-hmm. So we make the people to go to, for example, to go to the Fashion Week in the first side of the editors. That is the most important of live streaming, comparing to if the screen is high resolution or not.
And so, can we move to your other case? I think that would be interesting to understand what you mean through business case.
Yes, there are 2 more cases. One is I mentioned it's our cooperation with L'Oreal in Cannes with live streaming with the top celebrity as Gong Li. And in the meantime, the signal one signal is on our platform. The other signals we send to the Tmall, the biggest online shopping mall, and help the brands to sell their products. This is the case. And the other case is Air China using the live streaming to promote and pre-sell our own magazines. So we just live broadcast how we make the cover shooting, and with the top, not top, just the very popular actors in China, and within 30 minutes we pre-sold 20,000 copies of magazines and 10,000 new followers on our live streaming accounts. So there are 2 more cases I will share to you.
Okay, thank you. Elijah, what advice would you give to brands when they want to work with KOL, since you are working as a KOL?
Yeah. Making sure that the KOL brand and the brand's brand are well aligned, and that the community that the KOL can bring to that brand makes sense. Because I really see, and this is where a lot of brands are failing, I think, in China right now, is they are not themselves delivering value through content or through something interesting to give back. And this is another part of that shift, is what are you creating instead of just what are you selling that's interesting and that involves that person. And so when a KOL brings a massive audience to your brand, what do you have to offer them ongoing? Because that either it's going to be an adrenaline spike and you sell a bunch of stuff or you get some sort of notoriety, or it can be something that you now have a new audience that you have shown, hey, we're making really cool stuff too. And so that brand alignment with that KOL alignment is really
which is also true in the other platforms.
Absolutely.
So
it's
human relationships somehow.
Correct. But we don't see that. We're still, even for us, we're not seeing that a lot yet, only in certain cases and with certain brands.
Thank you. And Mike, so I mentioned that before, but you are helping brands. How do you help brands to go into a live streaming platform like yours? On your platform, obviously.
Okay.
So our platform, like me, we typically offer two type of business deal with the brands and their influencer. First is those brands who already have a right influencer or KOL, and in this case, sometimes in real case we have no charge. We just work with them freely. One key reason is that we also appreciate the brand value and also the KOL value when they come on board, because they will also drive a lot of new users come to our platform. So we love that kind of things happen. And the other thing is when they generate content, that most of the time are high quality curated content, which is also highly valuable for our community, existing community. So in this case, sometimes we don't really charge them. We just work with them freely, even give them some kind of feature support. And we believe that's a kind of win-win-win situation for all of us. And the other case is that brand come to us and ask for help. Just like the case I just shared with everyone, the girl is actually worked for LiveMe, and we help them connect with the brand. So in this case, we will do the kind of case by case with the brand. However, let's don't forget the key part is not just about money. What we're trying to do is we're trying to help brand create enough awareness and make sure a lot of people follow that brand, follow that KOL in a long-term perspective. Because we understand even your customer don't buy right in the show. As long as they follow you and make sure you deliver continuously value to the fans and audience, in the end of the day, they will become your customer and also probably become your loyal advocate in the long run.
And because we, I think, have to talk about money, I think that's one subject that is super interesting for everyone. And also because the platforms is also not based on money, but there's also money involved. What is the, not the average cost, but from where is it going for brands if they want to work with you and do something on the platforms? How much is it going to cost?
Well,
I mean,
it really depends.
not like an average, but like something like you can give a rank between.
Okay, it will depend on what kind of show they're asking for and what kind of audience, because we can also offering like the pre-select audience. We understand who gonna watch your show, and we will make sure they tune in and follow your channel right before you kick off the show. And we also can do some kind of promotion right before the show, and after show we can help you to find those right targets. So in this case, sometimes we will charge like 10,000 per show or higher in this case, and also provide the support from selecting right broadcaster. Because based on our current learning in US, a lot of big YouTuber, they come on board, but they are not really familiar with live streaming. So for those KOL who really understand how to do the live streaming, and it's really hard to find. And so once brand find right KOL to do the broadcasting, that's really a very high value thing. So that's also something we will help the brand to look for.
Thank you. And Mio, talking about money, how does it work with brands?
So that's what we are doing, that because we are expert in fashion industry, so we combine the platforms and the brands and with our professional planning together to make the value higher. Right. So because we have the host, they are the KOLs, they are the professional peoples and the celebrities, right. And we can recommend the right platforms to the brands according to their requirements. And most importantly, we can create a very real scene of fashion environment, such as fashion week, fashion event, cover shooting. This thing is very real you cannot find in other place. And that is add more value to our live streaming. So we just combine the three parts together.
Okay, thank you. And Elijah, I have that question also for you. Is it like, we talked a little bit about the gifting before, but I mean, together. How important is to use the live stream platforms in the business model of a KOL?
Well, it depends on what type of KOL you are.
Sure.
There is, in our case, one of the things that we offer brands is the ability to actually move an audience from, say, our Weibo or our WeChat and a promotion to a new platform or to a Taobao store or to another place that brings those people into some transactional environment. And so there's two ways to work with, or there's a couple ways to work with a KOL on a live streaming platform. One of them is generating awareness, very high level, top of the funnel. Hey, this person's talking about this brand or they're talking about this product, and this later I am going to go and research that, I'm going to be involved with this, or I know that someone I love is promoting this. Then there's also the environment where, hey, this person is actually trying on something or pushing something and I can click to buy. And I think click to buy is really, really cool to work with KOLs, but it also can be very challenging because you're bypassing some of the regular buying behaviors that people have, which are to price compare, to look at other brands, to look at, is this really, the ratings for something? Is this a product I want to buy? I do trust this KOL, but do I really want to click and buy right now? Mm-hmm. And so it can be as challenging as it can be advantageous to do that type of thing.
I think in your writing on LinkedIn you said one of the business model for KOL, and that's the interesting part, is instead of doing an operation and having a fixed fee for the brand, you want to have, it would be interesting to have a percentage of the sales.
Totally. And I think that's what brands should really start to consider right now is, hey, the most common way to work with KOLs is through a flat fee, is I'm just going to pay them X amount of dollars to do X thing. Mm-hmm. But what might be most interesting, and I believe that there are many cases of this, and we have cases ourselves, is this is an opportunity for sales exclusivity. It's totally clear to measure the ROI and effectiveness of this. Yeah, totally. And why not offer that KOL an opportunity to say, hey, we'll give you X% of these sales that you have. And that can be really, really huge. And at times, it can fail, but for the brand, that's not much of a loss because they didn't have to pay out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have like 3 minutes left. I don't know if there are questions in the audience on the live streaming platforms. We have people with mic, I believe. Yeah, one question's there. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, it should work.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you anyway.
Legislative, how much is it very much led by the government? Like in terms of like, is there the content that you put out, is it, is it quite governed in terms of how much you can put out and what content you can?
Yeah, essentially it's zero control and they're post-reactive, kind of like, so right now if you're a foreigner, you cannot be on a Chinese live streaming account. You cannot own one. They just put that law in, so they've blocked a whole bunch of foreign live streamers. Now you can't do things like eat bananas on screen, and so it's very reactive to negative or what the government considers negative content. If you say something or produce some sort of content, later your account will be blocked. But that's one of the scary things for the Chinese government, I think, with this type of media is that there is no control. So if someone says something. The platforms are very careful. They are monitoring all of this. And so as soon as they see something negative happening, they don't want to be penalized themselves. But there is essentially very little control.
Another and last questions? Yeah.
Hi, this is Calvin from AppMaster. So I live in China, so I think, Elijah, you're talking about the KOL space. And one question I have in mind all the time is that I think in China, very specifically, the young people, they actually don't do a lot comparisons that you were mentioning. I think they're very much driven. It was echoed by the earlier section about China or Chinese people has a special connection to celebrities or someone they look up to, or they could be blindfolded. If they like your girlfriend, for example, they would probably shop a lot of things that she would recommend, right? They don't actually go and compare, especially in the younger generation. So my question is, in your case, then how do you see the kind of scalability and a continuous business model? I think, I work with brands a lot too. And we're a data company. And a lot of our clients are saying, look, they like probably individual cases, like on Tmall, doing a live streaming, but how much a brand can do. Like how many campaigns, for example, you can do on a year basis for those live streaming, because apparently they have to spend some money with KOL, and in some cases, the celebrity. So I think it's the longer term business model. I'm just wondering, how do you see that?
I think how this is going to play out is how it's already starting to play out. Brands need to realize that KOLs are very unique talents, and that brands also should be creating regular, consistent, high-value content. That's how KOLs got to where they are and why they're so valuable. And brands need to start to actually mimic that same type of behavior. I think that exclusive contracts with KOLs is the future of brand KOL relationships. That eventually it'll be Millennium Fu brought to you by Tom Ford or Maybelline or something like that, and brands should actually own that thing and realize that, hey, there's an opportunity for us to create regular, consistent content, building relationships, developing that, not as focused maybe all the time on direct sales right now, but building that brand customer relationship, listening, and engaging the way that a KOL engages.
Thank you.
Okay, real short. Because a lot of times I was wondering, some of the KOLs we work with, they also worry about getting too much connected with the sales, right? Because, as you mentioned, the content is always the king to go forward for a KOL. And you have huge followers. And, the moment that you kind of switch to a more click to sell or direct to purchase approach, is it going to hurt the KOL himself or herself, right?
Absolutely, it can. I think absolutely. I think that the way that they became popular was providing value, providing information, providing entertainment. And I don't think you need to, with the new generation, you don't need to push buy this now. You just need to push affinity for a brand. When that brand has something new to offer and you incorporate that in with something fun and interesting, then those sales are naturally going to outpour.
Since the subject seems very interesting about influencers, it's good because you have a whole session just afterwards. Thank you very much to all of you, to the three of you for this panel. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much.